Hi, Lou Manfredini, Ace's home expert, and in this video, we're gonna show you how to replace the flush valve assembly on your toilet. First thing you're going to do is you're gonna shut the water off to the toilet, because what you're gonna have to do to replace this assembly is disconnect the toilet tank from the toilet bowl. So with the water off, flush the toilet, get as much water as you can out of the tank. You may actually have to use maybe a small wet dry vac or even a towel to get all that water out of there, because when you take this all apart, water's going to spill all over the floor. So you just want to make sure you've got some towels handy. The tank typically is connected to the base of the toilet with either 2 or 3 bolts. And you need to loosen those bolts from the bottom side of the tank where it connects to the bowl. You'll need a wrench, you'll take those nuts off of there, and then once that is free and you kind of can feel that the tank is loose, you're gonna lift that whole tank assembly from the base of the toilet. The base of the toilet can stay put. You don't have to do anything with that. Now you've got the assembly, the flush assembly, and you'll see that it goes through a hole in the bottom of the tank, and there's typically a gasket that comes off. It exposes a nut, and you're gonna need a large pair of slip joint pliers to remove this large nut. And you're gonna take that off, and the whole assembly comes off. Now with this new assembly, it goes back just like the old one. You put the correct washer on, you place it through the hole, you tighten the nut, then you put that big gasket back on, and then you carefully place the tank back onto the bowl assembly that's connected to the floor. And you kind of make sure it fits all in there. Put the nuts back on with the washers, tighten it back up, and then make sure that when you tighten it, it's nice and snug so you get a good seal. Don't over tighten because you don't want to break the china. And also pay attention to how the tank looks. You know, if you tighten one bolt too much, it can kind of look cockeyed a little bit. So it needs to be nice and level in the back so the toilet looks correct when it's all done. Then once that assembly is all back together, you're gonna reconnect the fill valve to the hose into the overflow tube. You're gonna reconnect the water line underneath the toilet so you're supplying the water to it. And then you're gonna fill the tank back up and flush the toilet. You've just now replaced the flush valve assembly and that overflow tube, and everything should be working just right.